Look at the NQ open. We are opening up in range. Again, that allows us to basically set the range. We can do that on the lower time frames, and we can take a look at ES as well. And that is also opened up in range, right? This doesn't always put a doesn't always put a pin in the cushion as far as staying in range, but obviously this is sorry. I had a text message come in. This is exactly how range can be created. So moving down into a lower time frame, yes, we have a small gap that could get reversed and filled, but as of right now, this leaves me in an area I feel no stress. This type of set. It's not like I need to solve this problem. I just need to react to what I find above and below me. And on the 2 hour, it seems like the ES SPY is clearest. Um, that being said, you can see the range that we're trading in currently on the ES as well. I believe the RTY is pretty much the same. So as of right now, we are opening up in range, no move in either direction. We are seeing well, I will say the IWM is moving up towards its retest level at 2,500. But other than that, we're going to have to wake up tomorrow morning and see what the market gives us. And that is really as simple as it gets, because there's no sense in trying to put in extra effort into setups that just really don't make any sense, or it's too far away from a certain trigger to call it bullish. So I'm neither bullish or bearish this week until we see a rejection up above and a curl back down, or vice versa. So that being said, we do have a relatively busy week ahead of us. Of course, the government's still shut down, no food stamps. I'm sure you guys probably have seen my videos on that. If you haven't, watch out. But anyway, Monday, ISM manufacturing, jolts on Tuesday. This is tentative, of course. ADP non-farm farm employment change, ISM services as well. That's on Wednesday. We have unemployment claims on Thursday, average hourly earnings, core PCE price index, and non-farm employment change, of course, coming out on Friday. And of course, this is tentative, government shutdown. Obviously, when that news comes out, hopefully we'll see I mean, just for the good of our country, it'd be nice to see that happen without having to, ruin people's lives. That being said, we do have a pretty busy week ahead of us. If I'm not mistaken, this is, November 3rd. This upcoming week, we have Palantir HIMS on Monday after hours, Fubo, Goodyear, other than that, we pick up a little bit more speed on Tuesday. Uber, AMD, Shopify, Spotify, SMCI. Sounds like I was doing a riddle right there. Pfizer, Beyond Meat, BP, Pinterest, which has a lot of empty space. In Norwegian Cruise Lines is another one. So pretty busy week, and obviously a lot more as we get towards the end of the week. We did some charting on this one on Friday. But anyway, that being said, what's going on, Ocean Polsker? Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I am shadow banned. If you don't mind tapping your screen, that would help me immensely. Trying to get back on the FYP here. What's up, Jose? All right. So a couple positions I just wanted to talk about going into this week, or some of the watches that I have at the moment. Of course, one of these is some of these have earnings, and TTD is one that I'm watching. It's had some crazy earnings, obviously, in the last couple of cycles, and it might not repeat, but it is something that, whether you're looking at it from a downtrend perspective or you're looking at it from just bouncing off of the floor and the empty space it has up above, there is an upside target potentially at 65. And if we don't make it there, it would be an obvious 43 or range, and everybody loses. So I'm watching this one going into Guns and Coffee on. Okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah, I did not know that. So anyway, that one, obviously, on the watch list. It does have earnings on Thursday after hours. Some of us have taken a position on that one. PLTR, we took this one while it was inside of the box, had a solid candle close up against 185. We saw all week pretty much solid upside, a brief pullback, and we closed up, right? And this is kind of familiar price action for PLTR, but it's going into earnings. And of course, we're going to find out on Monday afternoon, whether or not this one has the ability to go reach those T200, 280s, or excuse me, 228s. I'm having a brain aneurysm right now. Sorry. Or if it pulls back and fills back down to 182.65. So, all right. Hims also has earnings. This one might be fun to speculate here. It's got a lot of empty space, got a lot of rejections overhead. It's just one to watch on the watch list here. 4081 would be the most obvious floor underneath us. But if it could break down, could see a whole lot more down to 30. So, all right, so that's my watch list as of right now. Of course, Tesla is, I can't leave behind. Tesla's getting to that point now where you got to start setting alerts all over it because news is coming inevitably. And of course, that's going to send it moving to the up or the downside. We are literally just waiting for a catalyst. I'm, again, not guaranteeing anybody anything, but in my perspective, this is something that if you could find a reasonable expiration, 3 to 4 weeks out, I don't think that we go 3 to 4 weeks forward without moving. I think Tesla has that ability and set up to break, whether you're looking to the downside, but you could make money straddling on this thing at this point due to how much tension is built inside of it. I do expect this one to give a considerable move, whether that be to the downside and down to a potential 3,400 or even all the way to that 358. So this one is definitely more than 1,000% gain. I would expect this if we can hold to target, let those runners run, whether it be in the 540s, 550s, or it down to the 350s. It's got to be a, depending on the expiration, it's got to be a 3,000% play if we can catch it at the right time. Now, that's going to be the hardest part. It's going to be a wet fish, but we'll try and wrangle it as best as we can. I want to talk about Roku really quickly. I closed green on this one. I bought a decent amount of equity, and this is not one that I'm talking about for anything other than a long-term hold, which, again, I don't talk about it all the time, but, this is where my strategy really is at its simplest, the best. But we got a weekly candle close near, right, that wall above 104. And so I'd like to see a move up to that 120 going into next week. It's going to be a long journey, but the target would be in the 300s, which seems a little far-fetched. But I think even 177, but okay. Yeah. All right. So if you have any requests, please drop those now. We'll take a look at them, see if we can add anything to the watch list. There's a couple of other things that I've got on my radar. I know Kava had a decent little spill down. Someone was talking about this one over the weekend, but if it does end up moving down into that 46, be curious to see if this one bounces. But AO and Anon. So this is one of those stocks, man, that I just really can't. I'm not going to be very helpful because I just don't have all the information that I need. Now I can give you some key places that this needs to step up and move. But other than that, it's really going to be, what do you know? And trying to focus on these higher time frame levels. So what I can tell you is what is above and below. There's a box down below you, retest 27 cents. And then you have a floor at 50 cents that if it could get reclaimed and if you could break 75s, a lot of ifs, then perhaps you do have a channel and you could see a target up there, but that's not really my kind of setup for sure. So Amazon to the upside. This one is at all-time highs, my friends, and it did have a brief pullback at a trend line that we've been watching here for quite a long time. How it pulled back is obviously going to be a deciding factor and where it goes from here, and it didn't seem to leave a whole lot of empty space. But it's not really free falling either. So you could be looking at a 240 retest before you end up breaking back up. But what you're going to have to do on a setup like Amazon, if you want to get a good entry or if you're looking for continuation of the upside, you probably need to be down here on the lower time frames, 15-minute, and using these boxes like this at 247.25 and above 249.70. Well, actually, I'm going to change that. 252 would be a break point that I would like to see Amazon move forward. But again, when you're out at all-time highs, all I really have is my, tools such as the channel and uh We'll take a look at that one. What do I think about Uber earnings? That's got to be a giant green candle. Let's go look at the 24-hour. If it reacts, then maybe that looks like a punch back to the upside. That one didn't move. That didn't move. That didn't move. That moved, but it had dropped so hard. Wait.
Okay, it came in after the drop.
So one thing that we can't do is we can't rely on Uber to give us a big move recently. As it was 2023 when we saw an incredible move. Now, that being said, I think there's definitely a reason to be interested in a setup like this. And so here's what I see, right? And this is a lot of the times when you're stuck inside of a range like this, it can be really tough to, without empty space above or below, it can be really tough to try to decide which way to take it, which is why I don't take things like this. But that being said, you've already wicked off of cost basis. What are you doing? Get out of here. Get out of here, dude. Knocking over my drinks and shit. All right. Anyway, so that being said, you have a potential punchback going into earnings, but it's not something that I would take based on its history. If you could get a strong push over 98.80, maybe new highs. But other than that, man, this is kind of a hot dog doo doo water setup. One thing I can say is it is going into earnings underneath that 97 resistance, and maybe you get a drop out of that. But I would never take something like this. So, Potter would be the reason I lose in. Wait, lose what? Wait, what? DK and G? So that one has been falling pretty quickly, and I talked about this one as a potential bounce play, and it looks like it might be set in motion here as we did move down pretty close to that old, and you can see the candle closes are right here. That's exactly where we bounced. So it's kind of like looking to your left and seeing what needs to be recovered in order to continue moving up. One of those levels that I see on the 24-hour is this candle open slash reclaim level, and that's at 31. On the 4-hour, I would imagine that translates pretty well. On the 2-hour, probably even better. Yeah, so it does look like that level is beautiful. So literally going, and DraftKings does have earnings. So I forgot to mention, yeah. So DraftKings does have earnings. It does have a shit ton of empty space up above it. It has had earnings in the past that were pretty sizable. So I'm not going to take anything away from it there. That being said, you would have to place a target of 2765 and 26. So for earnings, this is really tough because you could go on a ripper like this, but here's how it has to kind of happen like it did here. You need to bounce, break through 34, 35, and there's a massive play to DKNG up to 42. But that being said, you'd have to have a reasonable hedge, and that's got to be somewhere around 2765. So no matter which way you take it, if it's down or if it's up, I mean, you got to look at it too on the weekly. It's, pretty heavy rejections here. So, what's up, Caleb? Thanks for the follow. No shave November. I thought that would be fun. It's gonna look rough, dude. Neo is just opening up in range, guys. I don't see this one breaking until you move through the 4-hour box. But no, ma'am. Yep. No. Tomorrow I can, but not right now. Shoddy. Close it, please. Close it, baby. Thank you. Appreciate it. Trying to ask me for boba. Oh, it's only 650. I just told her no. She must be watching K-pop Demon Hunters. Let me see if I can order boba really fast. Got to be a dad too, you know. Damn. Nope. All right. So anyway, with Neo on the 4 hour, do see a move up to 774, but this is one of those ones that it has to go and break that exact level, 774, 775. But all I see on this one is a 24-hour candle in range. So yes, yes, when it gets above that previous sell level, but until it does that. Mara is a nightmare. I mean, seriously, go ahead and shred your balls, in a cheese grater, because this has got to be the worst chart on planet Earth. It filled up all the empty space I've identified on it, but this is hot dog, blender, sewage, water. Never gonna trade it in my life. I don't care what I mean. It has, it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. So, that being said, I don't know. I really don't know, because at this point, with the amount of the lack of empty space, maybe on the 4 hour, on the 4 hour, you could play it underneath 1750 down to 1634, which seems like an inevitability there. But Jesus Christ, man. All right, Roku. Yeah, I had just was talking about that one. You can go watch the YouTube video for the full breakdown on it. But 120 is what I'm expecting next. So CRK. Where is the empty space? So there is empty space on this one. We got to step back. Very whippy ass stock. So you can count on some. Okay, so we had a box there. Very interesting. Tried to build, fell down, bounced off your old cost basis, fell down again. Okay, so here's what I would say right now is you got to move through this small area. I think reclaiming and pushing through 1950 would put you on track to go and move up into this box at 21. So, do I like Rivian equity? I currently own quite a bit of it. Yes. It has some empty space up above it. I honestly, yeah, I have a target of 23. There's a gap, I believe, up there somewhere. Where'd it go? Yeah, let me just put it plainly. Yes, I think this is one that could be hedged, but you see this pinch right here on the weekly. It's fucking crazy. But there's the gap at 23.29. So I've kind of loaded the boat. I'm ready, or I have hedges prepared just in case. But yeah, I do have equity on that one. Sezzle down on the weekly for sure. On the 24-hour, yes, but you are about to run smack dab into 59.87, which has to be a retest level there. On the 4 hour, yeah, that's true as well. You also have 56.75. So I would say 56.75 is a sure bet for a bounce. And that's not going to happen, obviously, until you make or lose your 64.80. So has earnings this week. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, make sure to mention that. Does it move on earnings? Not great. Decent. Not great. I mean, it seems like it goes on like little 3 day runs. Hmm. I, I say 56 down first. I mean, if you lose any more than that, then I'd say 45.60. But long wise, you got a box to punch you here. You have a box to punch you there. So yeah, I don't know. If it got down to 56, then you could take a upside target trade. I know you're looking at that empty space up there, but there's just so much volume underneath it. 65s. Okay. All right. What else do we have, guys? Thank you guys for tapping your screen. Also, appreciate it. Just helping me break the shadow ban. Or we. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. That shouldn't be hard to fix. Okay. Damn. All right. Thank you guys. Sorry about that. Thank you for the heart me's. All right, so for CoreWeave, I believe this one had or has earnings coming up. It does have earnings in about a couple, let's see, 8 days, seven days, or yeah, 8 days. Does it move on earnings? Not really, but it moved afterwards pretty well. Here, it kept continuing on its rip, and then really don't have any more information than that. On the weekly time frame, I see a target of 103 down. I could also just as much argue that there's a move to the upside just above or outside of 150. I mean, if this thing blew 150 out of the water, I mean, you could see a reasonable candle up. So there is a lot of tension on this one. It's not a lot of clear empty space until you start looking like down here. So speculative for sure. KMI, Kinder Morgan up. Okay, so if you thank you for letting me know which direction you're taking this in. That helps me a lot. All right, so this is pretty easy when you're stuck in a box like this. You got a clear floor at 25.85. You have a clear ceiling at 20. I'm wrong. At 26.45. So that is the break point. Now, in order to get into this trade, I see 26.28 as a reasonable entry to try to get up to that 26.50. And then from there, you got pockets of empty space, of course, that you could try and take advantage of. That being said, this box is trying to fight for this floor. And so really it is 26.28 that would be that reclaim level. So not bad. What do I think about Meta? So I'm trying not to short it down to its fucking knees, if I'm being 100% honest with you. So to be unbiased, at the moment it has sunk down underneath where sellers control the price. On the 4 hour, it's relatively clear. So I am watching to see whether it goes back up, and I mean it could make for a reasonable play to the upside with the amount of empty space that it has, but it's very resistant on reclaiming that. And you can see that in its behavior around what is that, 654. I think that just based off the bounces that it had there and the fact that it hasn't reclaimed that's where we can expect possibly even another leg down. I suspect that Meta's doing something along these lines. So whether that's a retest and another leg down, and we could see 620. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. But to the upside is definitely going to be a great opportunity when that gets recovered. Honestly, 658 too. You got a solid play up to 669. So RVN earnings Wednesday. Thanks for telling me. Up. Of course. Yeah, we talked about this one, brother. It's closing in the right direction. It's closing up against or right around that 1030. It has empty space up against it. I believe we went over the earnings. The earnings weren't terrible. So yeah, dude, I have, I don't have anything negative to say about that. Doesn't really have any empty space other than 827 underneath you. Meta is cash strapped. Yeah, that's wild though. They got billions and they're cash strapped. It's diabolical. Netflix up. Netflix up. Yeah, there's a yeah. So there is a play. Let me get rid of all this. Right. So if you want to get in here, you got to get above there, and that is 1145, 1150. That is what needs to be reclaimed. right now you're building in the right direction. You've filled up your empty space underneath there. Those are always good signs to see that you filled up any weakness underneath you and you're building in the right direction. That being said, I can see clearly over 1130. That's the setup, right? You can see there is a wick off of 1138, and there would be 1140 floor to reclaim. Yeah, it would probably be around 1140, 1142. But once you get above that, that's where, given price actions moving in the right direction, or with some volatility, I could see that move up. Yeah, I don't do any fundamentals. You know what I mean? Like I could care less what the fundamentals are. I have seen stocks that should go bankrupt fly. I've seen the opposite of what every analyst say happen. I don't listen to fundamentalists unless I actually am curious on that company's. Normally, it's quantitative. It's not like what they're yeah, I don't care about any of that. So, um, Harder, take it slow, man. You are momentum trader. I would say not really. I get into trades oftentimes before momentum uh comes in. But Carter, in order to, he's not spamming Waylon, but in order to get into day trading, man, which this is not what I do. I don't day trade. My typical thing is somewhere in between swing trading, day trading. I swing into day trades. So like I buy at the end of the day and I take profit typically around 10:30. But go to my educational playlist on YouTube, and that'll be a great place for you to start, man. Right. I'm gonna actually set an alert on this because I would be interested in trading that one. Adding to that one actually is rather. All right, what else do we got? Keep dropping your requests and tapping the screen, guys. Appreciate you guys. Got me up to 24,000 likes. Holy shit. Nice job, y'all. Um, oof. So this one I can tell you, I've been watching almost all of your videos on YouTube. I've learned so much. Gracias. Hell yeah, Lambabina. Beautiful. All right. So this is where my job is so easy, it's stupid. That's where it goes up. 144.60, candle close, 24-hour, that's uppies. Right now, where it goes from there, that's the question. It's got to go and reclaim 154.42, and a breakout would likely occur above 169.20. So, that being said, if you go down or any sort of trigger to the downside, it won't happen until you lose 11.15. All right, Pfizer earnings. I hate Pfizer so much, but it doesn't have a terrible earnings setup. However, how is the earnings? Earnings are decent, right? They're not always crystal clear, but on this 24-hour setup, there is a decent setup. I'm not going to trade it, but I would be aiming right here, which is 50% of this dump and also the empty space up above you. So if you're watching this, Manny, I'm not buying any fucking BYND calls, dude. Yuck. Yucky. All right. AAL up. Risk reward is worth it. I don't know what the contracts are, but the weekly is the only place that has empty space. This is one of those charts where it just doesn't feel very clear. You know what I mean? The price action recently has been a lot better, but it does move kind of in a granular fashion, dude. It's one little grain of sand at a time. So 1387, that's all I can really say there. 1387. Estas some Yeah, if this one can punch through 22.35, I have an imbalance target of 28. If 28 can get hit, then maybe we get to 33. Walmart. Give me a direction, guys. Which direction are you looking to take this? I didn't even look to the games page. Damn. Damn. Beautiful. 1387 for what? On what? To take it to the upside for a stop loss. That would be a 24-hour candle entry. Take it at the end of the day. Twilio to the upside. Yeah, let me know which direction you're taking. Holy shit. Yeah, so I do have a target on Twilio of 142.19. More accurately, I think would be probably up in that 142.50. Netflix is a top watch. Tesla's a top watch. Let's see here. Ooh. Roku's on the watch list. Hems is on the watch list. PLTR. I've got my eyes on Reddit. TTD is also on the top of that watch list. So you need to hold the 132.66 up, by the way. Love down, not me. I'm not quite sure on that one. I can tell you that underneath $30, you have a way better chance. I think that's obvious. Now, one of the reasons that you're bouncing here is this is one of the things that you actually had to punch through in order to get here in the first place. So losing the top right there or losing that $30 mark, I think gives you 29.62 and perhaps that floor. So Upstart has a interesting 24-hour setup. I will tell you that. This is a setup that does look like it has the potential to get moving. It does have a pretty well constructed down channel here. Now that being said, that's not a deciding factor always. But sorry, is bro zoomed? Zoomed? What do you mean zoomed? What does that mean? Is that some kid lingo that I'm not aware of? Some Is he saying I look zooted? No. Yeah, I know what that means. All right, so there's a couple things that are going to need to happen. One, yes, I do like this setup because of the ability to go and fill this right back up. And because of the empty space, I could see a green candle or green candles here. That means that you are inside of this box, which is awesome because this would be the upteenth time that you've rejected this wall and you have multitude of bounces here. You got empty space up above you and you'd have a retest level and a target of 61.25. So yeah, this could be a great place to look into a buy. But if you want to get in here, you got to be on the lower time frame because you need to be able to find yourself a floor. What needs to be reclaimed up above you? 48.30, punch over 48.60. So yeah, you have some lower time frame work to do. Potter looks like he knows how to get down on the dance floor. I don't know. It's been too long, man. I used to. You think Tesla chops? Yeah, it's leaving a lot of empty space inside of the box. I think we are, but it's on the watch list because it's getting really close, we're getting really, really close to making a bigger move. So I could see a like a big rip up and a big move down, but that's too far ahead. So 220 target on PLTR. I have a 230 target. So yeah, a little bit different, but APLD up. I really don't know how much more I can offer on this one because this was literally at 42.22 was the target I gave ages ago, and it has gone and hit that target. So if you can reclaim that, that is the only thing that stands in between you and potential new highs. So reclaiming that and moving through 51.20, I think you're going to get all-time highs there. So BLTR is so mad overpriced. I but you got to think you're one out of millions who have multitudes of different opinions. You know what I mean? Some people think that it's the future, more valuable than Google and Apple, and that's they're betting on its future potential, not its current potential. The market's always in fantasy land, looking ahead, not looking where we're at right now. So, that's something that sure, you might be right, but that doesn't mean the market, you know what I mean? It will totally agree with you. I knew that Nikola was going to go to fucking the OTC, but I got my ass handed to me trying to short it. So, all right, the ETF leverage plays. I mean, I'm not ever involved in that, but Poland is a big deal with PLTR if they haven't signed already. Yeah, I did see that. Yo, 33,000 taps. Yo, thank you guys. Really appreciate that. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I see on that one. You said Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is I would venture to guess that see, I see when I look at this one, I see a big dump. Um One thing that I can track, so I can tell you guys happens on a every almost every rip basis, and I can see that they're very. It doesn't mean that it has to, but a very regular basis. Um, but typically, a lot of these big rips, you come down, you retrace 50% of them, right? Big rips, 50%. And so, with that being said, you've had this last big rip and you just pulled back. And because we're building here, we have, again, it's not set in stone until we lose that floor there. Because at the same time, right, if this holds its floor and pops over that, what is that, 1116, you have an ability to go and test this for the third time and go for a break. And that's might be what you're building and doing right here, because you could have said the same thing here about it being red, and it did go down a little bit further, but not enough. So that being said, um, yeah, I mean there is a play, even if it's just 92 or even all the way down to 86. So uh, yeah, I know about iBit. Yeah. Cost basis, which has been $60 here, has been holding up for a long time. So FTNT. What else do we got, guys? Keep dropping your requests. Yeah, that one does have a good setup. It just needs the juice. It's been struggling with that and has been accumulating ever since. So hopefully a catalyst like earnings could come in and blow that top off and give you a solid 92.65 run. You know, I I think the 24-hour is probably the best suited, and it doesn't really um it's one thing that as I go through it, I don't see a lot of higher time frame boxes. Everything that it does is in little tiny pinch increment moves, but everything is based on a lower time frame. So in order to take bros back up, it would be over 57 13 and through and above. Let's see, that's $60 whole. So break of 60, and I could see a move up into the 63.33s, maybe even beyond up into the 70s. There's pockets of empty space up there as well. But as of right now, you also could look at it to the downside because that's the direction you're facing. And through 54.42, candle close underneath it, you might be looking down, but I'm kind of done with that one. Macy's. So this one definitely is losing or missing out on the higher time frame empty space. You know, when you look at it this way, on the lower time frame, you know, there is, I guess, what you could say a potential to fill empty space down here. And if that's what you're waiting for, there's a couple of key marks that need to be lost. One of those is going to be 1910. You could use that as a stop loss for a longer short. And then the next target, or an inevitable target, would be 1841. Now, losing that isn't a box, it's more of a range. And so here's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to use this old box because you essentially popped up, punched back down, popped back up, punched back through, and made a new high. So in order for you to break back down, realistically, it would be under 1793 and 12, I'd say 1722. There's a gap right here. And when that gets triggered, I mean, shit, I'll set an alert on that. That's not that bad. No. UNH, no. High IV is trash. Mm. So this one seems like it's kind of in the 50% mark of this range. And so with that being said, with this many weekly indecisive candles, it does seem like a direction is going to be picked here relatively soon. Based off the fact that you've pulled yourself off the ground 3 times, I suspect that it's over and breakout over 1844, and that's where you'd be looking for a target of 2205. So pretty sure Trump has an interview in 10 minutes. I am waiting on Coin to come to a conclusion on this one because right now it's stuck in between two signals, 312 and 367. These two, yeah, it's literally, you're literally chopping in between the two. So I'm waiting. Coinbase is too correlated with Bitcoin. Should I give Bitcoin the fucking better movement, you know, a little bit wider? 60 minutes, yeah. I mean, everything I see right now on this one is relatively bearish. So any loss of 44.50, and we're looking in here. You know, obviously a 50% target would be. So yeah, underneath 44.60, which is your next target, you could be looking at 40.17. I suspect that you could see something of. I mean, there's empty space up above you. But you can see a little bit of choppage right there, so be careful. That's remember, it's not a short signal until you actually lose the floor. Thanks for the share. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm gonna try to be here for pre-market prep, but I will not be here for open. I will try to be back as soon as I can, but I have errands that I have to run, including going to the bank as soon as it opens. Cool. They fucking with my money. I meant to say that at the beginning of the stream. Okay, so you are again still stuck in between. You haven't lost what you need to lose. You haven't, yeah, you haven't lost what you needed to lose to call it short. And so you go to the 24-hour, you see that that is exactly where you fucking bounce. So lose 75 or 76.50, and you could look at a downside move to 69. But otherwise, honestly, the fact that it held it, it could try to fill that space back up. And but yeah, it's underneath that low, literally that 75.32 low. Um, I don't know if this one's worth it, but it's underneath the 903. The box to your left. I mean, you're building a box around that box. It's such a terrible stock to trade unless you're looking at it long term. It's very rare that it continues the move fluidly. A lot of doo doo setups, man. I see a retest at 1194. Simple as that. I did the ETFs, yeah. I did Meta, yes. It'll be on YouTube. This one's getting bought out. Yeah, it's been kind of, I believe, yeah, some buyout talks or something like that. There's not a lot of empty space up above you unless you're looking all the way up in here. And again, if I'm not mistaken, if this is buyout, you can just expect more of this fucking type of price action. So it's rough. It's very simple. We need a 24 4-hour 645 candle close. You have a target of 674 to the upside. It's essential that you make that move, and if you lose or were to lose 613 65 85, that would be a downside trigger to take this all the way back down. I see 573. So yeah, under here you get this, above here you get this. Waffle. Like 2.5, 3 years. I've always told people this, like, I don't want to call it luck because, we knew we were in the right area. We had done research on why we wanted to buy the stock that we had bought, Kodak. Um, but I got a big boost from that, and it definitely gave me the cushion I needed to continue on the journey. So without that, yeah. Haircut now that TikTok's, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I need a haircut. But I thought maybe just go through November, no shave November, grow a mustache. Something happened to my mic. What's wrong with my mic? What's wrong with it? Is my mic okay, guys? Is it okay? Tell me it's okay, guys. All right, get O'Reilly out of here. Want to do some stock ASMR? It's on and off. That's weird. It's fucking weird. Fine for you. Got you. All right. No, does it? I don't want it to sound fine. I want it to sound great. Does the mic sound great? Or is the mic poopy? If it's poopy, we've got a problem. A poopy problem. Oh yeah. All right. As soon as that thing bounced, dude, at 12:44, that established that is the short level. Trust it. So once you get that 24-hour level, it's just, and I mean, I'll be honest with you, it kind of looks like a traveling in a little channel like this. So you could be looking at it to the upside first. You're listening to Potter Stocks at 102 The Box. Next up, Big Green Dingus. And our favorite audiobook comes on after this. Trader Gets Fucked by Red Candle. By Potter Stocks. Any chance of the markets crashing tomorrow? Guaranteed, dude. I have no idea, bro. JD. That's, dude. Dude, this is what happens when you take a stock and put it in a fucking blender. Honestly, we could get better insight from this guy. What do you think, dude? Give it a look. No? Okay, yeah, I have no idea, dude. I will tell you this though, it does have a super strong sell level that it closed underneath at 34.20. One could be leaning more south if 32.26 is lost. He did look down. Cat was pointing down. Cat was pointing down. Can we get some affirmation on this, my boy? What do you think? Down? Up? Which way? Make a decision. He doesn't seem very happy about this chart. I agree. All right. Bro, what setup to you looks clearest? What setup? Dude, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's not a lot of clear setups, dude. I'm looking through everything. Like I trust me, I've been looking through everything. I see and I'm going through my regular watch list. Like this is ass. This looks like it's gonna fucking crash. If I'm being honest with you, but I'm not gonna. That's not my official statement. Snows, that was on the watch list. That's gone. SoFi is at the highs. Target has some great setup, but it just doesn't want to hold. Tesla is one that I am watching, but again, still needs the juice. This one's a great one. We like TTD, but again, it has earnings. UPS already did its thing, made a bag on that one. It does have a punchback and a move all the way up into 112. Yeah, but Elf is about to fucking dump. Really not a lot of super clear setups. So Lyft looks okay. Pan W, that's all you, brother. That's all you, Chadwick. That's Papa Chad's right there. Only Papa Chad could handle a stock like this. But here's the thing. When I run into these weeks where I don't see anything, I just don't move that much. Just try not to touch shit that doesn't make sense. It's that could be fun. Nah, it's already dumped so hard. It's not going to dump any further. Fuck that. Yeah, you guys, I'll speed through some requests. Drop all the requests you can. And I'm not even going to break them down. I'll just see if I see a good setup, I know what it looks like. I'll stop. Reddit, decent setup to the downside. I will say Reddit down with that big wick. Yeah, that'd be kind of nice to make something back on that thing. Meta, That one I can't call for anything more than 644. Lower time frame, empty space ends right where you've bounced, right where you bounced. So if in order for you to close lower, you got to lose 642.75. It's not clear until that's done. NBIS. Maybe the all-time highs, but not that good. Gouge away. Bee fly. No. I'm looking for a good ass setup, dude. A good ass Potter box setup. If I don't say anything, it's not good. I love that it dumped that hard, though. That makes me very happy. That could be good down, yes. Underneath 58.50, yes. Target 54.20. No. If you got some, gouge away. Not until you lose 58.24. I did be fly, dude. Looks like poo poo. I don't see any empty space on this one unless you go to the weekly, maybe. Then you could see it there. I mean, it is pushing. It's over this 278 high. Rivian, I like that one for equity, but it doesn't have a good setup. I'm not being honest. I'm be honest with you. I'm in it for the squeeze out into 23. Your next target is 69 or $70 to the upside, and once you break there, it's 87. So, but not my setup yet. It's in a box, which is the most important thing here. Is it's just 1, 2, 3, and honestly, with that weekly, it could be. This actually could be looking for a break to. It has earnings, so maybe I don't know. Actually, over 813. It's not good. On. Yeah, empty spaces. Empty space is filled. Empty space is filled. You could punch down. You could pop back up. I mean, again, not DocuSign. Now that has a good setup. That's a good setup. DocuSign has a very clear setup over that mark of $74. Earnings is far away though. Duolingo, does it give bearish to me? Not with that bounce. Not until you lose your floor, or not until you see something that shows it's going to lose that 265 mark. I would actually be looking. This actually looks better to the upside than it does the downside. Yeah. So you'd have to reject and break down through what you built. One day. $14.55, $14.75, $15.22. I mean, this definitely is at the floor. 3 bounces there, so it could be set up for a decent run back up to $16.80. It does have earnings for that setup. So, yeah, I still like Stone. On the weekly, it's clearest. It's still fighting for that break over 1950 into all of this empty space. I love that setup, actually. $6.08 is a target I see. $6. You're already on your way there, though. It's already ripped so hard. Yeah, you're very close to that first target. You have to punch down. and you don't even really have that much of a box, but it would be a loss of 44.60 first, and then I would be looking for 43.25 to be lost and to get into that empty space. But obviously, Bitcoin dumping would be the number one indicator for there. If JD can get over 46.80, the world is your oyster. But until then, right now, this thing is building. It did retest where it needs to retest, but it's obvious that it's over 39.75 and through this range at 42.50. What's up, Sammy? What's up, brother? She said, Daddy. I'm going to tell your papa, dude. Pull up. You kind of missed the boat on that one, big dog. Honestly, you're really close to punching down underneath 267.71. You could be looking for a pullback to 264.50 and a gap fill at 263. That's all right. I'm going to post this on YouTube. Speaking of, if you turn your eyes over into this mess over here, that is all of the merch. And the poly mailers will be here tomorrow, I think. I got everybody who orders a free gift. I was going to surprise you guys, but I can't help myself. Little mouse pads. That's free. I'm not charging you guys for those. That's the hoodies. You guys know these ones. I got a box of those. And then oh shit. Don't worry about that. When is it available? I don't know. $20.28. You guys can probably order on Tuesday. That's when. Am I gonna sign your hat? You gotta put a special request for that shit. Yeah, Pete Tone was a crazy. It's gonna be worth a lot someday. Yeah, I do think HIMS could come down on earnings. Obviously 41 first, but then the rest would be to 30. So all right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Or no, I won't actually. I will not be here tomorrow morning. You guys are gonna have to open up the market. Make sure to watch this video back. I'll try to post something in the AM in my channel inside of the Discord. So but otherwise, you guys have a wonderful night. and I will see you guys tomorrow, probably mid-afternoon. So, but anyway, peace out. Thanks for watching. I'm out.